Hey, this is Darren from Property Prosperity. I thought I'd just have a chat to you about a conversation I had today with just a random person I rang up just to see how things were going. And they were telling me how excited they were that they sold their house and they managed to find an agent that they didn't have to do any open inspections, they didn't have to spend any money on marketing. They just rang up someone they knew, they came around, they talked to the agent, they said what they wanted for the house, and they'd found someone that came around and bought it straight away. And I could understand why this guy I was chatting to would sound like a good idea, but in reality it's bad, and even worse than bad. It's even worse than bad because you don't even know how bad it is, and you actually think it's good. I think that's what, for me, that's probably what makes it even worse. Is the fact if you have a bad experience with an agent, or they just do the wrong thing by you, and you end up a bit annoyed, and you can go out and tell all your friends that they're not doing the right thing by you, then that's fine. You just tell all your friends, and obviously they get a bad reputation, and then they'll be out of the industry. But when someone does something to you and you look at it as a good thing, and then you go and tell all your friends how awesome your real estate agent is, when in fact they're not acting in your best interests, then that really concerns me, I suppose. So let me first explain what when an agent sells a property without essentially putting it on the market. So they don't put up a sign, they don't have open inspections, they don't put it on the internet. What they call that is an off-market sale. Off-market meaning they haven't actually put it on the market. So my concern for that is my logic of trying to sell a house. I want lots of people to want to buy the house. I've got thousands of people in my database. I can just ring up a random person and just say, hey, I've got a house. Do you want to come and buy it? Which in theory seems a really good idea. But in reality, even if I've got thousands of people that I can call and get them to come and see your house, I don't have everybody. We have more than 1 million people living in Adelaide, so I'm not going to have every single person. And so, even if I do have that perfect person, I want them competing against everybody else. So that's the whole logic of my thing, is I want the more people to come and look at your house, the better. So when you're taking a very small sample size of, 1 or 2 people, and you bring them to come around and look around your house, and you've already told them what you want them to pay, and if they pay that, you're willing to accept that, then straight from the start, at the end of the day, you've got to understand what your house is worth is not what you think it's worth, and it's not what the agent thinks it's worth, it's what someone's willing to pay for it. So if you go in that mindset, just because you think it's worth a certain price and someone comes in and pays that, doesn't necessarily mean you got what the property's worth, because you don't really know what it's worth until you get someone coming in and paying what they're willing to pay. So what you've got to do is create this sort of competitive environment where people have to try a bit harder than they otherwise would. And if they know they're the only person that they're competing against, they're the only one that wants to buy your property because they're the only one the agent invited around to come and have a look at it, why would they try too hard to try and pay more money than they otherwise would? So, and then my other logic is, understanding it would make sense for people to come around and just buy the property, which would be great, and you wouldn't have to do any marketing and any open inspections. But in reality, the reason we do marketing, the reason we present the property as well as we possibly can, and we have nice little brochures and have open inspections where we present the property really well, is because we're trying to. Hey, Andrew Crosby, thanks for joining. I've seen you working for 12 hours straight, so good work. Thanks. So sorry, I got distracted. So so thanks for what was I talking about? Sorry about that. I was talking about open inspections and why we try to present the house crazy nice, because thanks for the like too. And because at the end of the day, it's just like going out on a date. You can rock up with your trackies and in messy hair and not look too good, or you can do yourself up and look a bit prettier, and you've got more chance of a second date at the end of the day. So it's exactly the same with trying to sell your house, basically. You try and present it as well as you possibly can. You try and point out all the really good things, and you don't necessarily try and hide the bad things, but obviously, there's no reason to try and point out the bad, just purely bring people along when the house hasn't been presented as well as they possibly can. And so you're going to have that situation when, if you're not preparing for an open inspection, just have a random person rock up your house. It's less likely to look as best as it possibly can. So I understand it's a hassle to try and, present your house really well. And I understand it's a hassle to, fork out some money on marketing and do photos and brochures and all that sort of stuff. But you got to understand that degree of hassleness is going to translate into, tens of thousands of dollars, really. So, and I've found examples where, I've sold my house relative to the house next door, next to And I've seen, you know, $40,000-$50,000 difference between my house and a house next door, which maybe the owners haven't tried quite so hard. So that's basically my thoughts. So if an agent is coming to you saying, hey, they've got someone that's interested in buying your property and they'd just like to just sell it to them directly, you know, I'd probably question why. You know, why don't you want to put it on the market? Why don't you want to see if there's other people out there that want to buy the property? Because at the end of the day, the more people that want to buy your property, the better, because the more competition there might be have. So I have a comment here from Chris Gilmore, the real estate agent, says he loves live when you read the comments and it throws you off, and he still wants to know about my hair gel. So maybe next time I might even get a little hair gel thing into it as well. So actually, you know what? Just wait there, Chris Gilmore. While you're on there, I'm going to get my hair gel. Okay, are you still there, Chris Gilmore? I have brought my hair gel along, if you're interested. Anywho, so that's pretty much it. So I hope everyone understands that. So basically, at the end of the day, if an agent comes to you saying they've got a mate that wants to buy your house from the pub down the road, then it's not such a good thing at the end of the day. You really want to put it on the market. Oh, here we go. There we go, that's my hair gel there. So it's only a quick look. If you want to know more, then you have to stay tuned for next episode. So that's pretty much it. So yeah, so basically marketing your property is not a bad thing. Spending money on marketing is not a bad thing. Presenting your property really well is not a bad thing. Having signs out the front is not a bad thing. Having open inspections is not a bad thing, because at the end of the day, it all puts money in your pocket. I know it's a hassle and no one wants to do it, but if that adds, you know, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 to the value of your house, then, you know, that's a whole year's wage. So for a little bit of effort, you know, for however much effort it's going to take, you know, relative to a whole year sitting at a desk typing away at a computer, I think it's definitely worth it. So that would be my advice to you. I know it's a hassle, but just put up with it, because it translates into more money in your pocket at the end of the day. So thanks, guys. Nice chatting to you. And if you've liked what I said, then click on the like button. And if you hadn't liked it, just click on the like button anyway. And if you have a good question for future, feel free to put a little comment in the comment box. And if you'd like to buy some hair gel, then give me a yell and I'll tell you where to buy it from. And if you think this all makes sense and you think your friend might find this useful, then click on the share button and send it off to them too. So thanks, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.